think it's really a huge honor to be able to have this entire room to myself. And I think when I was in the early stages of thinking about the exhibition, it was important to me to bring in other elements of my artist practice, because I think there's been an emphasis on the photography, but in reality, I am a multidisciplinary artist working in a lot of different mediums, and those mediums really complement each other. The pastels and the paintings are really something that I've been working on recently. In the last year or so, the production of them has really, or the creation of them, I should say, has really ramped up and become an important part of the conversation with the photographs, and being able to find the relation between the two in the space is super important to me, and I think really exciting. And I think on a formal level, they complement each other just in terms of color and light and blur. There's a lot of the same vocabularies in the photography as there is in the paintings and in the drawings. And I think a lot of the ideas that I'm speaking about in photography really translate themselves to the drawings as well. The pastels and the paintings are a much more intimate viewing. They're very small, and I think they have a lot of sort of kind of chaotic energy to them, because there's this kind of very physical movement of the body, whereas the photographs have this stillness to them. So I think together they kind of balance each other and create this interesting energy between the two of them. In terms of technical process, I'm using a lot of, as we've talked about, kind of these filters that I've made on the camera, and a lot of the sort of blurs or the motions or the movements that are happening in the works are things that are happening on the camera at the moment that the exposure is taken. So that's to say that there's no kind of post-editing for the images. What we see is really what the image was when I took it. I work with a lot of positive slide film, just because I'm infatuated by the color. And when working digitally, to make the image bigger, to enlarge it, which is kind of the only digital process that happens in the process when printing it. The colors are just translated in a way that is just like really magnificent. Sometimes works of art really move me, and like I've said, large-scale painting and the works of I think the recent passing of Adnan, who's a huge inspiration for me, was actually one of the few artists I can speak to, or people like Julie Meritou. These sort of, although Adnan is working in this really small format, but the way they use color and light are huge sources of inspiration. But past that, I really take inspiration from everything. I think that good art is made by kind of trying to replicate these like little beautiful moments in life. And so I really just try to have a meditative practice that is influenced by what I see in the world. Even if a tree is moving in a really nice way and I want to make a photograph of it, I think that can really inspire me. But past that as well, I read a lot of science fiction, and a lot of critical theory kind of goes into the foundation of the work and the building of the work. Music is something that I'm using often in the studio, and a lot of jazz and ambient compositions and classical music that kind of inspire this sort of meditative state that I can work in to make these sort of still photographic works. Yeah.